Okay, and so now in the exhibit floor, we're wandering around. This is a fancy ballroom where they put a lot of the big booths, and here is one of the biggest companies, Xerox, about to split itself up, and I've come over to see a couple of my friends. This is Tam Sinclair, who is the head of are you the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer? Chief Innovation Officer at Xerox. And this, of course, is Regina Holliday, who doesn't need any introduction to anybody, but is a amazing patient advocate, artist, muralist, etc., etc. All right. So first things first, Tam. Why is Regina standing next to you here in your booth at Xerox today at HIMSS?
So I think I first saw the walking gallery a couple of years ago at HIMSS, and it was such an intriguing introduction. And when we found out that we could sponsor Regina at HIMSS this year, it was just something that we couldn't pass up.
All right. So for those of you who don't know what the walking gallery is, I'm going to spin you. It's like on the dance floor. Okay, this is a jacket painted by Regina. That's Tamara's jacket, and it's a story about what? She knows these stories better than anyone, but tell your story.
It's called Determination, and I'll give the short version. When I first started out in healthcare, I really wanted to change the world. And I finished with my PhD, went to the Oak Ridge conference, heard about the $100 genome, that we're going to cure cancer, and it took me a couple of years to realize there's regulations, you've got to make money, there's got to be alignment with the patient, payer, and provider, and tried to, over, I guess, the first couple of decades of my career, chip away at those with an understanding and feel like it's been kind of my mission to figure out how we actually overcome all those challenges to actually change and transform healthcare. So I think determination is a really apt
You have to be excessively determined not to change healthcare much. All right. Talking about changing healthcare, somebody who's done a lot to do that. An amazing story, originally out of tragedy, but now doing good stuff. So Regina,
yes.
You have painted out a bunch of health diplomas and HIMSS and God knows how many other conferences by now, and you've been all over the world.
Hundreds.
I met you in Australia and Korea, among other places.
It's great. Like, Matthew.
All right, to do that. And everywhere you go, you paint. I'm ashamed to say I don't have my jacket on, but you're painting right here. So, I'm going to go over your shoulder. Tell me what is going on in the painting right here.
Okay, so this is my painting about Xerox Health and what they're doing.
Okay.
So when they were describing what they do, it was really a behind the scenes kind of, we do all of this, but nobody knows about it because it's got the label of the other company. We do the behind the scenes. So I'm like, oh, what's the metaphor for that? I'm like, well, when you used to do laundry and you'd hang up these sheets and you'd stand behind hanging up the sheets, and people would see, they would see that they were sheets, but they couldn't see the person behind it. So what I did is I started painting all these different parts of Xerox. So the government division that's working, making sure CMS and their vendors are working together in a way that makes sure that people get the care they need and the payment has to happen. We got over here their traditional Leo system and the core of what Xerox always meant, the paperwork and making it go into the right kind of files that we can digitize it and make it where it's interoperable. Over here we've got the pharma division working on clinical trials, trying to make sure that all these clients they're working with have the clinical trial knowledge that they need, the patient populations, and they can get to them. Over here we have the provider space where they're trying to work with the providers and the institutions, making sure they have their needs fulfilled. Of course, there's also payment, making sure that payment is occurring, which is really, really challenging. And then over here, we have marketing division, which was color-coded gray today. And I get gray because I'm in marketing division today.
I stole white.
You got white. So what they're doing is working, of course, with payer, because without marketing, you don't get your word out. Guess what's never going to happen? You're never going to get paid. And so they get all of this laundry done. They clean the data. They make it work. And once it leaves, the provider, the nurse, they're taking it away. They're taking it to the patients and making it usable. But who we get to see them. We don't get to see them.
Very cool. I like it. How many paintings have you done so far here?
At HIMSS, this is the first one.
First one.
I am working on gallery jackets too.
Slow for you doing jackets. All right. So let's talk about the walking gallery for a second.
Sure.
Let's flip around a second. So you've got this is a Little Miss Type A one that you did. This is a conversation you had with a cancer doctor some years ago.
Yes. So that's my core story.
It's your core story. I know that one. We know that one well. So I won't repeat it now, but people can find that in a bunch of places and shown at many venues. Tell me where the walking gallery is in terms of how many jackets and the news you just had about the new place for it.
Yeah, so we have 408 jackets at this point in the walking gallery.
So it was interesting to me that I never wear my damn jacket, so I should get you to pay my t-shirts. So we may have to think about the walking gallery t-shirt. Anyway, but what is, for those of you who don't know, there aren't many, there may be some, what is the walking gallery? What's the idea about the jacket?
Oh, okay. So it's multifold. The concept was when I went to my first medical conference, which was Connect 2009, a Data and Gov conference, and I walked into this room, there were all these people in business suits, and I wore a church dress, and I knew I did not fit and I was not powerful. All the people in business suits, they're powerful, right? So I realized that, and then Jen McCabe reached out to me and wanted her jacket painted to go to a...
Jen was the first one?
She was the first, yes. So she reached out saying, I want a jacket painting so I can go to AMA and I can wear it, and a patient will be in the room. And so I did that, and I painted one for Ronnie Zeiger after she saw Jen's, and one for Shira Bell after she saw Ronnie's, and those are the first 5 jackets.
Then it went out of control, right?
And then it became the walking gallery as I painted not my story on people's backs, but their story. And that first meeting was in 2011, and we had 56 jackets painted by myself and other artists. At this point, we have 43 artists painting in the walking gallery and 408 jackets. Yeah, and we have a goal for Health 2.0. We have a goal of 150 more jackets by Health 2.0. And you know what I would love to do at Health 2.0? Remember the Grammys when Slim Shady in 2001? Remember, did you watch that? It was amazing. It was like Eminem came in and like hundreds of Eminem came in behind him. And I would love it if we could do it where like we all come. It would be so amazing.
All right, so, we'll work on the choreographics of that. That'll be fun. All right. So quickly, tell us about the new venue for the gallery and your conference.
Okay, so there's Salt and Pepper Studios, which was named by my son, my little son, my 10-year-old. He's like, you know, we should name it Salt and Pepper because salt is used in healthcare to clean things, and pepper is what you do. You're like pepper. You're spicy and hot and an activist, right? And so I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant, we should do that. So it's the home of the walking gallery, a physical place where people can come, paint jackets, learn how to paint more jackets, learn how to be an advocate and artist, have rescue space for patients. And we just got it, we just closed 2 weeks ago. A lot of work on that building still has to happen for it to become completely
And there's still a GoFundMe campaign, right?
There's still a GoFundMe campaign because...
Anybody who has a jacket or wants a jacket should be funding that, by the way.
Or believes in the movement.
Or believes in the movement.
And then in May, we have Cinderblocks 3, so we have this conference up in rural Maryland, at the end of 68 practically, where Pennsylvania meets Maryland, and we are going to be there. We have all these amazing doctors and nurses and fire dancers. Wade Hayes is coming.
Fire dancers.
You know, he's a famous country western star. He's going to tell about his cancer journey, and we're going to be out there just reigniting each other's fires, because that's what's needed for so many people, because this is great, and Health 2.0 is great, but one of the things that I like to try to do for people is help them reignite that fire within and get them to a point where like, yes, I'm going to change things, and it's going to happen now.
All right, which is getting back to you, Tam, and your jacket. So tell us about why you think it's essential, how you think a Xerox, like a huge company, does all these different behind-the-scenes technical things, and how they and other people can work with patients like Regina and other people to get fire going to achieve your change that is on the back of your jacket.
Yeah,
shout loudly because the Irish dancing from over there is getting loud.
So, you know, the way I see it, Matthew, is that the consumers are actually probably a big piece of what's behind the transformation in healthcare in this wave. I mean, I think that the ACA, we can talk about all the other things, but I think what's happening is a set of smaller companies are coming in and realizing that the consumers need to be in the driver's seat, and that it's that time. And I think for us, it's about listening to what's going on and understand how we can support those small companies that are coming in and doing something radically different, and how we actually help our clients respond to this new wave of change as well.
All right, fantastic. Well, I've been talking with Regina Holliday, always just a great pleasure, and Tamara Sinclair from Xerox, in the Xerox move, looking at the painting and the fun stuff that's been going on here. And we will look forward to seeing Regina, a lot more of you in the rest of this year.